Hello and welcome back to Unwind. This is actually like a completely different content series idea that I literally thought of now. Bit of context, just had a shit week, like a really shit week. And I feel like people don't talk about this kind of stuff where in business, things aren't going well, things are going badly. People just talk about the things that are going well, but actually feel like, that is recording, yeah. I actually feel like people get way more value from talking about when you're just having a shit week, like problems are happening in business and like how are you looking to overcome them, or even if you haven't overcome them, like what is your thought process through this. And I'm no fucking expert, but yeah, I've just had a shit week and things have been going badly. Like, you know, we're on top of the moon as a business for the two businesses. You know, we've got a TikTok agency and then the creative agency Hammy Media for like the last 3 months, and you know, it's like anything, it's that term, this too shall pass. Things aren't going badly, by the way, by any means. It's just been one of those weeks, and you know, I just haven't been feeling myself, and I feel like I wanted to start a series called when shit hits the fan, to basically just, and again, there's not going to be any necessarily there's not necessarily going to be like a set upload time for this, because you never know when shit hits the fan, right? But it's an opportunity for me to come on, vent. Hopefully it like offers some help and support and like makes people think, you know, realize that we all go through shit. You know, no matter the scale of any kind of business, whether they're small, medium or large. I don't think anyone talks about this shit. I don't really know anything like this out there. So I think it could be valuable. And I think as well, selfishly, it's an opportunity for me to just rant, as almost like therapy, gets things off my chest that are currently going on in the business. So I think firstly, one thing to note that is that had a heavy night last weekend. Friday went out, had a big night, which has just fucked my whole week, really. I've always been a believer of work hard, play hard, but sometimes, you know, you can take it too far, and it can, you know, really affect your week. So I think for a start, everything's been exaggerated maybe because of that. Haven't felt like I've been myself, and as a result, maybe haven't dealt with situations the way I would have liked to. So I'm just going to go through like things that haven't gone well this week, really, problems currently in the two businesses and how we're looking to overcome them. So first one, for you, advertising. I mean, that business is growing so quickly. It's, you know, crazy actually. You know, I was talking with Ollie and Joe, and it's already at a point where within the next few months, it's going to overtake the size of my agency, Hammy Media, and also the size of their agency as well, which is very exciting. But scary, and obviously we're growing quickly, so we have issues with hiring processes, etc. But the big one that we found this week was cash flow issues, which people don't really talk about so much, which sounds crazy for an agency, right? Like very cash rich model, great profit margins. But, you know, somewhere along the line, we didn't set responsibilities correctly. And as a result, we haven't been chasing invoices very well and haven't had an SOP or procedure in place for chasing invoices. So we found that, you know, we haven't had cash flow issues, but there's been a lot less money in the bank than there should have been when we're doing, you know, over 6 figures a month now with that business, which is crazy. So that's something that we're like tackling at the moment, and it's like an easy solve. We're just looking at ways like, you know, go cardless, so we can make sure money comes out consistently on a monthly basis, and also using like a tracking spreadsheet that I've put together, which basically like maps out every client, what the money they're paying, and then tracking, has invoice been sent, yes or no, has you know, then the 30-day payment window when that invoice was sent, and then you know, have we chased this? And obviously you can do this in accounting software and stuff, but sometimes it's nice having it there so you can like manually chase those things. And I'm not like a big fan of spreadsheets, but I think this works well. I do it with Hammy Media and it works really well. So that's something we just need to get back on top of again. And it's just something to note in terms of like, you know, setting procedures for every part of the business, even those parts that you don't think are that important. So that's one thing. I think another just general thing is like juggling the two businesses. Like, you know, Hammy Media is my baby. It's going to be a priority because it's mine. I'm the only director of the company. But For you is growing so quickly that I'm needed a lot there. I'm leading the whole creative division, a whole team there. So it's like learning how to manage the two businesses effectively. That's something I'm like struggling with at the moment, and knowing how to manage that well. I am working out ways of doing so. One of those just being like clearly at the start of every day, just like really big planning, like before you come into a day, like looking at what are the most important things on my list across the two companies that need to be fulfilled this next day, and then prioritizing them in terms of importance. I think that's a big thing that is working well, but it's still like something I'm coming to grips with. I think another thing is just going through quite a big problem with a client that at Hammy Media. I won't name any names, but had a pretty bad situation where a big falling out over. Let me just check this is going. Yeah, sorry, I get prangy about fucking whether things are recording or not. Had a big issue with a client really, who it was a long-standing client for a long time, known for many, many years, and I won't go into detail of what happened, but had a pretty big falling out. I felt like I was spoken to in a way that just I've never been spoken to in business before, which is, not the one really. And again, spoken to in front of my team in a way that really undermined me. And again, it's one of those things that you can let it happen once or twice, but it gets to a point where, it becomes self-inflictive and, it starts making you feel anxious. And this client was bringing in 130, 150K a year revenue to the business, like 15 plus K a month, a lot of money. And, it's very easy. And I've done this in the past where you let the money talk rather than, what your morals are and how you should be respected. And I think I let that go on for a little bit too long and put my morals and, how I know I need to be respected as a business owner. Liam said it when we did our Q&A episode. When you're a business owner, one of the reasons you become a business owner is like, so you're not talking shit to, obviously it's not one of the main reasons, but it is a thing, And, there's a level of respect there, and you shouldn't be at the mercy of your clients or, in another type of business, your associates. It's a partnership and you're equal in that sense, and there's a level of respect that you need to show. And if that respect isn't shown, do not be at the mercy of your clients and let them walk over you, because you'll never recover that relationship. As well, you need to set the parameters for your team. If you're being spoken to in a way that doesn't align with your culture pillars, the way that, the morals of the business, that your morals, and you're letting that happen and you're letting them walk over you, then you're almost instilling into your team that that's okay. So again, you really can't let that happen. Really, really important thing to know. So I couldn't let that happen, and then sadly we had to end that relationship. Again, that we ended the relationship. It felt empowering in a sense, because it was like, no money is gonna let that happen. But as a result, it's one of those things. It's like we're growing quite aggressively as a business, and then something like that means it's a bit of a hit and you take one step back, but it will be two steps forward, because what you got to remember is like your mental health comes before everything. And if that is affecting your mental health like it did mine, I was on a holiday with my girlfriend and very recently, and I was literally up at like 1:30 in the morning just on my laptop solving problems for this person who demanded that I did that on holiday. And you should never let it get in the way of your mental health. When it starts doing that, no monetary value attached to that is worth it. So I think that's a big thing. Getting through that situation is just like affected, just like the mood. We're trying to retrieve some money there, and it's quite a difficult situation, but I'm confident we'll get through it. And it's obviously we're going to get through it and it's going to be fine. But that's also something that's just in my mind right now. I also think a big thing, we were like aggressively scaling as a business, like growing very, very quickly with, in hindsight, probably not much output in terms of sales. Like we've got an incredible offering and service, if I may say so myself. But as a result, like we were getting a lot of referrals and a lot of inbound, and we've built we do a lot of good networking, which helps lead to great relationships. But as a result, we didn't have a multi-channel sales, sales process set up. And I probably took my foot off the gas. So one big learning there, as a result, I now look at what we're forward booked into the next few months, and it's nothing compared to the last few months. I've combated that. We've just brought on a VA who's going to be appointment setter. We've built out a whole system and process with that. So we're going to be pumping out like 500 plus emails a day. We've got a whole email sequence lined up. We've looked at like our customer avatar, what that web copy is going to be. Chris, who's our head of engagement, is going to be like monitoring the data to see how we can split test those emails. So I'll kind of keep you updated on how that goes. But that will really, really help, and that will drive our sales outbound process as well, because we were focusing too much on inbound and not enough on outbound, because I took my foot off the gas because we were doing so well. And what you can't forget is, like, in business, things change so quickly that, when you are doing really well, firstly, you got to remember that thing that Tom Hanks always said. It's like, don't fucking get on top. Don't get too big for your boots, because this too shall pass. But that means the same when things are going badly. Like, this week, for instance, few things going wrong, and I've said the same thing, this too shall pass. Which means this feeling won't last forever. It's going to change, and business changes, So when things were going ridiculously well, and we were like doubling revenue monthly for like 3 months in a row, probably got a bit too comfortable with that. To be fair, like, we were ridiculously busy and almost at full capacity, but you've got to look ahead, like, as a business, and how you can like forward book and more of a trajectory for the following quarter, the following months. So as a result, we hadn't forward booked enough into this next quarter coming up. And that's definitely something we're combating now and like pivoting quickly to do so. I think another thing, like, we've lost a few clients the last week purely because of the recession coming. I've already noticed that this recession is about to hit. And people are already starting to look at their money. Like, we've had clients, no fault of ours. We had a big crypto client that we were working with. We've got, thankfully, a really big crypto client that, we love working with, and we've got them some great results. And I don't think we'll be stopping working with them anytime soon. But we just signed recently a crypto client, did all of our brand development, built it up. We're doing their social media content strategy. And then just before we could launch, we'd done like a month of work for this. Obviously, we got paid for it. But as a result, because of the crypto market right now, the bear market that we're going into, they weren't comfortable launching the project at that time. So that was a hit and a shame, because it was a really exciting project. Another client who we love dearly, we've worked really closely with, because of the recession that's coming in, people are starting to look at where they can cut costs. And I think one of the first places they're going to do that is like their brand top of funnel activity, which is a big part of what we do. So it's about like justifying the importance of continuing on. It's kind of what we had to go through during COVID in a way, like at the start of COVID, when people stopped spending, had to look at like how we could combat that. And I think one big thing is like looking at the Pepsi Coke example, like during World War II. All fizzy drinks stopped advertising during World War II, but Pepsi were the only one to continue. And as a result, you couldn't buy fizzy drinks because of rations, etc. But people were craving a fucking Pepsi because they were seeing advertising of it. And it's a great opportunity when your competitors drop off to ramp up your marketing during a recession, to gain some more market share back. So I think that's a big thing. But again, sometimes it's fully out of your control, and you just need to accept that. Markets move very quickly, and we are going into a recession, and it's a way that, got to look at how we combat that as a business. So yeah, I think, is that everything? I think as well, like, we're starting to pitch a lot bigger campaigns now, like 100K plus campaigns, which is really exciting, going after big brands. But as a result, it's a slower process, because it's a lot more of it takes a lot more of a decision-making process. So you're putting in all this pre-work for a pitch, and not much is paying off for a while. So it's a bit of a delayed reaction. So that's one thing we're finding. But on the whole, I think just looking at everything, and it's like, I've said this in a few podcasts, just fucking being grateful for being in the trenches. There are a few things right now that could be going better. 2 months ago, we were booming. We're still doing well compared to if I look back months ago, start of the year, we're still, doing really, really well as a business. But I think, there's just certain things that remind you that you're fucking human, and business moves and changes, and this too shall pass again, We're not in a hard situation. We're not in a difficult situation necessarily, but there are setbacks, and it's never going to be a straightforward upwards trajectory. And it's just important to know that and stay level-headed and work through it and just be grateful, for being in the trenches, that your fucking family are safe. It's really what matters in the grand scheme of things. I do think as well, I got some advice today. I haven't actioned this yet, but I thought it was an interesting thing to say. Write down everything you need to do, cross out what you can't control, and then create a list of long and short-term solutions for the things that you can solve. And I think that will really help. So that's definitely something I'm going to do. But yeah, thank you for joining me. It's just these episodes are quick. Hopefully it's around 15 minutes, something like that. I don't want them to be long. But yeah, I hope you got some value from this, and put down below any problems you're having as a business. I'll chip in, see if I can help with anything. I'd like to pump these out when we have problems, hopefully not too often, but even if it's one thing, one big problem we've had as a business and how we're looking to overcome that. That's me being completely honest and transparent. I think it's important to do because there's a lot of fluff and a lot of shit out there, and a lot of dick swinging and who can look the best. So yeah, I hope you found this valuable. Obviously, if you liked it, let me know, and we'll keep doing these, and I'll keep you updated on how things are going with those different things. But overall, I'm blessed, I'm happy, and I hope you enjoyed this. Subscribe to our Spotify, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'll see you on the next episode of Unwind.